Hi guys, so welcome to a video on me trying to explain to you how attendance for an online class that meets for 14 weeks, right, is supposed to work like, okay? This video might be also for 8-week class or a 16-week class, but this is pretty much how we calculate attendance for classes, right? If it is a 14 or 16-week class, we look at if a student has, or even an 8-week class, okay? We look at if a student has completed work and have they missed work for 2 consecutive weeks. Good. So that could be the first 2 weeks of classes. It could be the 4th and the 5th week. It could be the 6th and the 7th week. It doesn't matter. For 2 weeks, I don't hear from you and none of the work got done and I'm recording absence, absence, absence for you, then that's going to flag you and trigger a drop, okay? If you still, for 8-week class, right, because it's a contracted time, we then tend to look for 1 week worth of, or 2 weeks worth of work, but then in an 8-week class, a week is 2 weeks worth of work. So if you missed an entire week worth of work in an 8-week class, then that triggers a drop as well, okay? So how are we going to calculate whether you attended or not? The way we do it is slightly different in an online class than in a face-to-face class, but the logic is exactly the same. You have to finish work, right? And the way I know that you have been doing work is looking at activities that you have done in a week. And how do you know which activities are getting counted towards your attendance, right? So if you went down to your weekly shelves, right, under activities and forums, here is a summary of the activities you need to do for that particular week. Now, if this is something, if this screen I'm sharing with you looks different from the screen you are you have in front of you, because maybe this info is from another semester, disregard the dates. Just look at the layout of information. Are you with me? So under activities and forums, it says right here, due dates below, check boxes next to activities, right? Meaning there are due dates at the below here, and then boxes next to activities. This is what it's talking about. You can check those boxes when you finish the activities, right? So attendance for this week requires completion of the following. So in the screen that I'm seeing right now, which is for fall 2017 semester, right? It says attend pretest, due by midnight on this day. Introduce yourself to the instructor and your classmates in the introduction on Moodle forum. And the forum is here. Pretest link is here. You completed by due date, right? Start working on topics and discussions. Of course, I cannot figure out whether you started working on a topic and discussion, but this is just telling you, giving you a push and saying start working on it. That's activity that you're going to get an attendance for later in the semester, but please start working on it because it's already open and running and the clock is running on you, right? Review and discuss article 1 posted in the water cooler forum, and that's due by this day. So you go up here to the water cooler forum, click on it, look for a link that says article 1, and look at the instructions I have posted for what you need to do with article 1, what's the assignment expectation, and we go from there, okay? So this is pretty simple, guys. So this is where I have listed everything you need to do for a week, and this list is going to be available for you during all the weeks, right? Where I'm going to say under activities and forums, what are you supposed to do in a week in order to get attendance? Good? And you keep track of it. Even if you did not successfully complete something, let's say you did it, but you didn't get a good grade on it, you still get an attendance from me because you attempted it. So attendance is about attempt. It's just like when you come to a face-to-face class. You might zone out and tune me off, but I give you an attendance for showing up and sitting in the seat, isn't it? It's pretty much like that. You at least tried, you came, you were there, you got your money's worth or not. That's how we calculate attendance. So that's the same thing here too. Even if you don't manage to complete the activity successfully, I'm not going to determine your attendance based on it. Your grades are going to determine, right, the impact of you not doing well in those assignments is going to show up in your grades. So I'm not going to make you take a hit in both places, but this is how attendance works. Okay, guys. And then under topics and discussions, if you click on it, I have posted a reference one. Please watch the video about topics and discussions. All this will make sense to you, okay? Don't try to click on links and try to figure it out yourself, because usually in online classes, I will have at least one student who hasn't done any work. And when I email them and I tell them, you have been missing work and you have raked up so many absences, many a times they tell me they have no idea what they're doing on Moodle. Do you see how invalid that statement is? Because I posted a syllabus for you that articulates what's available on Moodle, what's expected off of you, how we write emails to each other, what do you do for your topics and discussions. I've posted samples for you in your syllabus, samples for you online, and I have also posted copies of the syllabus on Moodle. I'm posting orientation videos. Between all this, my hope is that I would have hit every kind of learner in this class and made sure I have passed on information to them. And I've always told you in every video that if ever you feel lost, all you have to do is call me, email me. Is that correct? So when you turn around 2 weeks, 3 weeks from now, then say, Dr. Parvi, I have no idea what I'm doing on here. That's not the way to go about an online class, where students who are successful are students who are self-motivated, who take charge of their learning and don't expect somebody to spoon feed right, materials to them. I'm going to be emailing you every week with a summary of what to expect in the upcoming week, and I expect you to read it. So that's all I can do. I can provide information for you, but if you are not willing to engage with it, keep track of it, identify your challenges, and then try to find solution for those challenges, then it's very hard to help those who will not help themselves. Does that make sense? So before your attendance starts or your grades start getting botched up, I can see that in your attendance, you not turning in things. When I check to see when was the last time you logged in, and that must have been, I don't know, 5-6 days ago or even 2 weeks ago, then I'm thinking, why are you not logging in and checking? What if I had sent an email in the time and you have no way of knowing that I sent an important email alerting you about something because you have not been checking your Moodle page? So every time you don't check your Moodle page, right, you are absent. Is that making sense? So just pretend like you're attending this class face to face, let's say on Monday and Wednesday, let's say, right? So your schedule right now allows you to take this class Monday and Thursday, Monday and Wednesday, let's say. And it's a class that meets for 2 hours Monday and Wednesday. You have to pretend like you are in such a class and set aside time on Monday and Wednesday. But the problem here is you are not getting lectured to by me, which means in 2 hours, I can fit information, explain information to you. You're listening, processing, writing down notes. But when you sit down with the materials provided to you and start and try to learn and understand materials on your own, do you see logically how long it's going to take for you to do that? But the logic here is you still have to have structured time where you're telling yourself, this week and every week, this is what I'm responsible for in this class. I'm going to look at my schedule and I'm going to decide when to devote time for this class. And I have an understanding that an online class is neither easy or simpler than a face-to-face class. In fact, it's going to be more challenging than a face-to-face class because I do not have the benefit of an individual who is an expert in the field explaining things to me face-to-face. But there is always a cost benefit, right, in any form of class. In a face-to-face class, you have to be here physically, which doesn't provide flexibility for you. So students take online classes because they want the flexibility, right? Because our schedules are all over the place. Coming and attending a face-to-face class requires us to have streamlined schedule. We all don't have that benefit. Our lives are very diverse nowadays. So in order to accommodate that diverse lifestyle, we offer classes that are online. But then that's the benefit of cost there is it's going to take you a lot of seat time, right, to finish work. So most of the time when students miss work, it's not because they're irresponsible, it's because they have underestimated how much work time it's going to take to do the work, and they did not pre-plan. And it's very hard to catch up on work after you have missed a week's worth of work. It just builds up and it compounds on itself, right? So make sure that you don't get into that rut that you cannot dig yourself up from. Is that making sense? Okay. So online environment can be very beneficial if you knew how they are different from a face-to-face environment and you employed skills. And then I have a little wisdom for you. Do not study 3 hours, 4 hours straight, because after 30 minutes, your brain stops engaging in anything. Even my videos, right, that I'm posting, if it's 40 minutes, 50 minutes long, you have stopped listening in 20 minutes because after that, you're hearing words, but it's not making any impression on you. And that's why I keep saying, pause the videos as you need and then come back to it. So when you're studying, right, set aside 45 minutes at a time, right? And have a built-in break for yourself. So 45 minutes of targeted studying, not just reading, looking around, checking Facebook, getting on your phone. It's going to be targeted studying. You have a goal. You have your PowerPoints in front of you. You have your textbook in front of you. You have notes in front of you, right? And you're going to go, okay, I'm going to go from this concept to this concept in the textbook, and I'm going to read and learn it and commit it to memory and understand it like I would be studying for a written exam, let's say, right? So you have to go and take a written exam where you're writing essays. How would you study? You won't study with flashcards. You would actually sit and study the content, isn't it? You will build the content up and study for short answers and essay questions, like in a history class or a sociology class, correct? That's how you study, even for an exam where the questions are going to be in multiple choice format, because your brain doesn't retrieve information in flashcard format. It retrieves information in a sequence, in a storyline, within a context. So if you are pretending like you are about to write an essay answer, or if you pretend like I'm going to take this section and this section is about, right, the different kinds of energy or laws of energy, right? So I'm going to study the laws that cover energy transformation. So that's all I'm committing to for 30 minutes. You commit to it, read it, write down questions, right? Because Q&A format works really well when you have questions written down for concepts you're reading, right? Then all you have to do is go back to those questions, look at them and go, okay, this section was about laws of energy. What's the first question I have written down? What is energy? You try and recall the answer. What are the different forms of energy? You try and recall the answer. And then the next question you have written down is, what are the laws that control energy transformation? You try and recall the answer. Explain the first law of thermodynamics. Do you see how I'm not talking about one-word answers here? These are all explain, define, compare, and contrast. When you do that, you come to an exam, and then I give you a multiple choice question. You answer beautifully because you can retrieve info in a logical manner. Does that make sense? You do that for 45 minutes, let's say, and then you take a break. Go and get a cup of tea. Go and wash, I don't know, dishes. Is that making sense? Call that friend you wanted to call and tell them, hey, I have a 15-minute break and I want to catch up with you. Whatever, do it. And then before you take a break, though, you have to commit to the second 45-minute block, and you need to have a purpose for that 45 minutes. Is that making sense? This is going to help you finish this class successfully. I know you can be extremely successful in this class, but then it requires a certain kind of student to be successful in an online environment, unlike a face-to-face environment. And you are going to learn all the power you have at your fingertips and use this class as a a reason to find it. Is that making sense? A lot of people take online classes and finish them very well, but you need to figure out a method and a framework within which you have to work. When you do that, attendance takes care of itself. You don't even have to count how many assignments you have missed, because you're not going to miss any assignments because you are on the game, on the ball, keeping an eye on it. Is that making sense, guys? This is a Gen Ed class. If you finished it successfully this semester, it's one more thing off your checklist and you're on to the next one and on to the next one. So that's why attendance is very important for you. Apart from you getting dropped off of the class, I'm more worried about you not making headway in your degree plan. Okay, so keep track of attendance. Every time you are in doubt about any of this attendance business, email me and ask me, Dr. Parvi, so I missed this assignment. What does that do to my attendance? Would you please explain it to me? And I will reply to you and let you know if you are in good standing or not. Cool? Alrighty. So that's it for this video, okay? So please watch these videos, in the order in which they're provided. As always, take notes, even with this orientation video, right? In your notebook, title, orientation, and take notes, okay? All right. All the best and see you in the next one. Bye-bye.